Imagine you're a chef in a busy restaurant, and you need to prepare multiple dishes simultaneously. You'd want to assign tasks efficiently to your kitchen staff to minimize delays. Similarly, when building software, you want to optimize your workflow to reduce build times. GitHub Actions matrix builds and caching strategies can help you achieve this. In this tutorial, we'll explore how to use these features to streamline your workflow. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to apply these concepts to your own projects. A matrix build in GitHub Actions is like a restaurant with multiple kitchens, each preparing a different dish. Just as the restaurant assigns orders to the most suitable kitchen, a matrix build allows you to run multiple jobs in parallel, each with its own set of inputs. This approach enables you to test your code against various environments, versions, and configurations efficiently. Caching strategies, on the other hand, are like having a pantry where you store frequently used ingredients. By storing frequently used dependencies, you can reduce the time it takes to prepare each dish, or in this case, build your software. This results in faster build times and improved productivity. The key benefits of matrix builds and caching strategies include reduced build times, improved test coverage, and increased efficiency. Let's take a look at the architecture diagram. We have a GitHub repository, which is like the restaurant's recipe book. The GitHub Actions workflow is like the kitchen staff, responsible for preparing the dishes. The matrix build is represented by multiple kitchens, each preparing a different dish. The caching strategy is like the pantry, storing frequently used ingredients. The workflow is triggered by a push event, which is like a customer placing an order. The workflow then runs the matrix build, which executes multiple jobs in parallel, using the cache dependencies to reduce build times. To follow along with this tutorial, you'll need a GitHub account and a basic understanding of GitHub Actions. You'll also need to install the GitHub Actions CLI tool, which is like a kitchen appliance that helps you manage your workflow. Don't worry if you're new to GitHub Actions, we'll cover the basics as we go along. Now, let's compare matrix builds and caching strategies to other approaches. When to use matrix builds? When you need to test your code against multiple environments or versions. When to use caching strategies? When you have frequently used dependencies that can be stored to reduce build times. In this step, we'll create a new GitHub Actions workflow. Think of this as setting up a new kitchen in our restaurant. We'll define the workflow's triggers, jobs, and steps. We'll also configure the matrix build to run multiple jobs in parallel. This is like assigning tasks to our kitchen staff to prepare multiple dishes simultaneously. In this step, we'll configure the matrix build and caching strategy. This is like setting up our pantry to store frequently used ingredients. We'll define the inputs for our matrix build and specify the dependencies to cache. This will enable us to run our jobs in parallel and reduce build times. Let's walk through the process flow. We start by triggering the workflow, which is like placing an order in our restaurant. The workflow then executes the matrix build, which runs multiple jobs in parallel. Each job uses the cache dependencies to reduce build times. If a job fails, we can retry it or investigate the issue. If all jobs succeed, we can deploy our software to production. To verify that our workflow is working as expected, we can check the GitHub Actions console. We should see the workflow trigger, the matrix build executing, and the jobs running in parallel. We can also verify that the caching strategy is working by checking the build times. When working with matrix builds and caching strategies, you may encounter some common issues. For example, if your jobs are failing due to dependencies, you may need to adjust your caching strategy. If your workflow is taking too long to execute, you may need to optimize your job execution or adjust your matrix build configuration. In this tutorial, we've learned how to use GitHub Actions matrix builds and caching strategies to optimize our workflow. We've seen how to create a new workflow, configure the matrix build and caching strategy, and verify that our workflow is working as expected. By applying these concepts to your own projects, you can reduce build times, improve test coverage, and increase productivity. Subscribe for daily in-depth DevOps tutorials explained in simple terms.